Hello everybody, and welcome on back to Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombie Mode. So today's going to be a little bit of a commentary rather than any specific guide. I guess for today we're going to go over, the setup that I use for Giant, because a lot of people, ever since I did, well, that's not what I wanted to do, but ever since I kind of did the Origins thing, a lot of people wanted to see how I set up on Giant, how I set up on Shadows of Evil, but there's a lot of content that I really want to start doing for Black Ops 3. I've been putting a lot of hours into this game, and I haven't really been putting out that much content to go along with it, and I kind of want to change that. I kind of want to start bringing you all a couple of guides, but I don't know, I've got this mentality that once it's been done on YouTube, I don't really need to do that at all. But over the next couple of days, I wanted to let you all know that I'm probably going to start putting out detailed guides on how to pretty much do everything in each of the maps, just kind of getting a baseline, so that way when we can start doing more content here, I can reference you all to these places, I guess. Maybe that's what I should end up doing, but I don't know. I've been live streaming a lot of it, and I don't know. For me, I just can't stop playing this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's the horde mode mentality that it ends up having. I've always been a fan of horde modes, and I can't put this thing down. For some reason, Killing Floor 2 it just didn't do it for me. But this game I can just keep playing over and over and over again, even though, you know, it's only got two maps. You've got the Giant and Shadows of Evil, but I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and go over the little bit of a setup that I use for this map. So, starting off with Giant, I like to try and get to the Bowie knife as quickly as possible. And the earliest that you're going to be able to do that is going to be round 4, assuming you get good enough drops. Now, we actually lost quite a few points because we got a nuke right off the bat, which is pretty bad, actually. And kind of wishing that didn't happen, but we need to make sure that we repair our barriers and all of that. Just get as many points as you possibly can. I believe it takes 6,500 points to go from the starting area all the way to the Bowie knife, and from there we can continue to use our knife and acquire more points. This seems like a very efficient method, at least to me. And something that I like to use as well when we're doing these knifings is kind of doing sort of like this backwards lunge. If you hit back and knife at the same time, you won't ever have to actually lunge forward at the enemy, which is really nice on the higher rounds, especially when you're on round 4 and, you know, lunging into a group may end up leading to a death. That would be terrible. Normal people probably should buy a gun at this point, but it's fine. I don't really need guns. Not right now. We're gonna buy guns eventually, but for right now, let's just go ahead and get to the Bowie knife. So it's gonna take 3 knives to take these guys out at this point. We still need, well, basically 2,000 points before we can actually, I guess, get what we want to have happen here. And we got a double points, but we're now in the red, so we have to be a little bit more careful. But if you do this sort of like backwards melee at the same time, you should be able to actually knife them without being in their own melee range. So if you manage to do it like this, as you can see me when I actually get it correct, you know, you won't have to worry too much about getting hit. And hey, we hit level 35, so that's kind of nice. Alright, so now we've got enough points to actually go buy the Bowie knife, since we've got 6,800, so let's go ahead and go buy that now. And I usually like taking the left entrance. As with I did in Origins, I don't really like hitting the box all that much. For me, hitting the box is just too random. I will eventually do it, but in the meantime, there's no real need to do such things. So let's go ahead and buy this door and buy ourselves the Bowie knife. So there we go. That's how we're going to get to the Bowie knife on round 4. And you really can't be any more efficient than that unless you get some max ammos and knife them all, but you know, you can't really do that much. So things we want to work on now, we kind of want to get ourselves a Vesper. Then we're going to want to get it pack-a-punched as quickly as possible. And, well, Vesper, get it pack-a-punched, and then we're going to want to try and get Blast Furnace on that thing. Blast Furnace or Churned. Either one works. And then really, that's pretty much it. If we're going to go for high rounds, Now, if we want to just be able to camp and sit up there in the catwalk for, you know, the next 35 rounds, then we can probably go for a Jacan from the box and pack-a-punch that thing. Something to always note about the Call of Duty zombies is that all the sniper rifles do the same damage. Yeah, the slow bolt-action sniper rifle does the exact same damage to the head as the semi-automatic fast fire rate sniper rifle, which is why you always see me in my live streams using the Dracan so much, because having a gun that not even pack-a-punched or having double tap, the thing can get body shot kills at 20, which is, well, really good considering it hasn't been, you know, pack-a-punched at all. There's a max ammo. I probably should have gotten that, but oh well. Where's the last zombie at? Where are you at? There we go. You're not the last one. You know, if there's one thing that I dislike, it's the fact that we're this far into the zombies and we still haven't added a zombie counter. Now, they probably do that on purpose because if we did have a zombie counter, it'd be a lot easier to say, hey, leave one more. Instead, you have to actually, like, pay attention to how many zombies are left. And I can understand it, but at the same time, I want a damn zombie counter left. Just that way I know how many I'm hunting through here, because I don't know how many times I've been sitting on that catwalk and it looks like it's slowing down. I jump off and then the horde spawns. Where is this last zombie? Hello? I can't even hear you. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. There we go. Now let's go ahead and get ourselves a Vesper. Now, as long as we get the headshots, it should be more efficient to actually shoot them. I believe we'll get a couple more points than we would if we actually just knife them straight up. But I like having the Bowie knife just as like a backup here. Plus, they're kind of nice for dogs as well. Now, as far as our perks that we're going to want to go for, if we're going to go for high rounds, then we're going to want to try and get Mule Kick. Actually, Stamina Up would be amazing, but that requires the Easter egg, which I'm not completely, you know, knowledgeable about. I don't know how exactly to do it here in this map. I know Shadows of Evil like the back of my hand, but here, not so much. Stamina Up would be really nice. Speed Cola is nice, but not really necessary. Obviously, we want Juggernog, and then we kind of want... Quick Revive. I guess as your third one, you can kind of just use whatever. I guess I would end up grabbing Mule Kick as our fourth perk, because that's what I would kind of run for Shadows of Evil. Because really, there's no if you're going for high rounds, there's no reason to have double tap. Enemies are gonna survive past whatever you're going to do. I don't really need your insta-kill. I already do plenty of damage. But doing this method, I'm actually kind of curious now how quickly we can get, quote, set up. I haven't even shot yet. You're giving me max ammos. Alright, well, let's go ahead and turn on another generator, since we do have the Bowie knife, and we can one-shot the zombies as we're walking through, so... There's really no danger here. And you'll see me doing this, like, slide. I still have said that I would make a video on what exactly I'm doing here and the most optimal way to do it, but for the most part, it's just sliding and jumping, but... A lot of people want me to end up explaining a little bit more in depth. Speaking of explaining more in depth, I kind of want to go over a series, kind of like, I guess, a weapon test series, where we take a gun and just a specific gun that is suggested and just kind of see how far we can end up making it with just that gun. Like, how bad or how good are some of the weapons in this game? And we're not going to make the teleporter. I got cut off, and I'm not going to try and run past that many zombies. I'll just go ahead and try and relink here. And we did get a nuke. I don't want that. Alright. So we'll grab Juggernog eventually, but with a Bowie knife, I feel pretty confident and pretty safe that we won't have to actually end up using it. So let's go... What perk did you give me here? Did you give me anything of value? Double points. I don't need that. It would be nice, but I don't need it. Okay, we'll take that, though. I'll take the dollar that's just kind of sitting underneath that machine. I'll actually save more money if I go in the other direction. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. That should be... yeah, that should save me a little bit of money here. Because if we're going for, you know, the optimal setup at the earliest possible round, then we're going to want to try and save as much money as possible, especially since there's no reason to even go down there. If none of the perks that I want are down there, there's no reason to. Unless Jug is... no, that's quick revive. I guess I'll get there eventually. Alright. Let's go ahead and link the final mainframe here, and that'll turn on the Pack-a-Punch, which we'll be using later. So like I said, there's two different perks that we're going to end up wanting on our gun, either Blast Furnace or Churned. Churned is pretty overpowered. Well, actually, they both kind of are, but Churned is probably more so, because you just kind of tap an enemy, and it will just kill an entire horde for the next, like, 30 seconds or something like that. And I still haven't fired a round out of this Vesper, and this is the second max ammo you've given me. Alright. Well, now that we have everything open, let's go ahead and find Juggernog and get that just for a little bit more safety. Now that I've got all of that turned on. There we go. And I guess we'll go for... I guess we'll go for Quick Revive next, although we don't really need it right now. I'm a firm believer in not actually buying Quick Revive in solo until we actually need it, because I like getting to my setup. I always feel like if I can't get to my setup before I actually have to use a Quick Revive, then I'm doing something terribly wrong. Now, you know, if you're going for high rounds, obviously at some point you're gonna make a mistake and you're gonna go down. So buying Quick Revive is obviously mandatory, but I like to not go for it right away. And there we go. That's another reason that I really like doing the this kind of the slice here rather than going for the lunge, is because it will allow you to actually knife a little bit faster there, so that way I don't have to go through the entire animation. I guess I should actually use a couple of these pistol rounds if we're gonna go for efficiency here. All right. Let's see. Yeah, all we have is Pack-a-Punching left, and then we're pretty much done. Because at this point, I mean, we can kind of go forever. It's just getting the actual perk on our gun, and so I think we can actually pretty much get set up and good to go here by, I would say, round 10. I think you can get your complete setup by round 10 by following what we're doing here. And I didn't really get, like, crazy good RNG on like doing these things, so yeah, we'll get more points by shooting them in the head than hitting them with the Bowie knife. So I would use the Vesper a little bit more, but I like knifing them. But we've got 2 more rounds before the Bowie knife actually ends up becoming I wouldn't say useless, but less optimal. That's probably the better way to put it. Yeah, not as optimal. So I want to get my setup here by round 10, so let's go ahead and do that. Well, I am actually going to need to find Blast Furnace and or Churn, so, well, round 10 may not end up happening. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of a horde going here. That'll probably be more efficient on points at this juncture rather than just knifing them one at a time. It is a nice 130 points, but, you know, it's not... the goal here is efficiency. And you can do hordes in, like, I would say, like, 4 different areas. You can go into that room over there, or you can use the courtyard. I really prefer doing the courtyard. I know some people will actually try and keep that door closed, but I actually find it easier with the door open. That way you're a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more flexible, but I guess you are a little bit more susceptible to RNG and randomness. So let's just go ahead and start spraying into this horde here. Let's see, is that a double points? There is a double points there. So that will definitely get us set here. And use our Bowie knife there to bring it down to just 1 zombie left. So now I've got about 11,000 points, and you know what? We'll go ahead and grab the Kaboom, just so that way we can get the extra 800 out of it. And we'll leave 1 zombie left alive on round 9, and that should be enough to get us all set here. And actually, we're going to get dogs, so let's go Pack-a-Punch now. Let's just go ahead and deal with it now, and we'll knife the dogs as they run up to me, and we'll be fine. That's pretty much my setup. Like, once we get the blast furnace like actually on our gun, there's really not much more to really add to my build. Quick speed cola doesn't really do too much for the overall build here. I guess maybe demonstrate the power of the Jerkon at some point. And we got blast furnace on the first try, so for all intents and purposes, we are done. We are set up round 10. There's nothing else we need to go for a high round. Well, obviously I can go and grab quick revive at this point, but there's not really much else. We have everything. We've got blast furnace, we've got quick revive. We're all good to go. And before we actually, I don't know how far we end up going. I guess that's what the weird thing is. I like to do a lot of commentaries and things like that, but I don't really know where to end with zombies, because with Isaac, there's a definite end point. Here, I can just kind of go forever. I go until I make a mistake and or get bored. But I want to at least get one horde here to show off the power of blast furnace, so that way you can kind of see what exactly this thing ends up doing. There we go. It's a nice horde there. And that's why I think the slide, I see a lot of people not really using the slide mechanic all that much, and this is why I like the slide so very much, because if this was the original Derice back in Black Ops, well, I guess any of them, didn't they bring it back for the fourth time or something? Wasn't it in like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and... Oh no, it was in Black Ops 1 and World at War. But this is like the third iteration. Yeah, this is the third iteration of it. But if we were back in Black Ops 1, I would have been dead right there. No matter speed would have saved me right there, and that's one reason that you kind of want stamina up, so you can get through those hordes. But let me shut up and just actually show off blast furnace real quick. So, quick tap, and an entire horde is dead. So that will actually kill an entire horde regardless of what wave you are on. Wave 1 or wave 2000, that blast furnace proc will affect everyone. And I used 3 bullets, and this gun can be bought off the wall. So, you know, I can literally do this forever. I can do this all day. But that's kind of one of the, I guess, primary setups for high rounds here on the Giant, and just being able to kind of survive. Now, if you're in like a team play environment and you kind of want to just hold out like on the catwalk, that's also possible. Let's actually maybe take a little bit of a run of the box and maybe see if we can't find ourselves a Jerkon. If we can't do that.
Savor your death.
There we go. And just let me go ahead and replenish those 9 bullets that I used that entire wave. There we go. And we could pack a punch the MR6, but honestly, I don't like the Mustang and Sally. I know people might hate me for that, but I greatly dislike the Mustang and Sally. Argus. Nice. Argus is another actually pretty decent shotgun here if you get used to the slug effect of it. Could use a little bit. Looking for a Jerkon here. That's a BRM. Now, if you're actually going to be holding out next to the box... Oh, that's a Wonderwolf. Oh, neat. Alright, time to throw that away. If you're going to hold out here by the box, I would highly recommend that you get... I would highly recommend that you get double tap, because holding out next to the box is a really, really stupid idea. And you're probably going to end up getting killed most of the time, because, yeah. Not supposed to hold out here. It's a really bad idea. Man of War, probably the best assault rifle. And this is exactly why you don't sit right here. This is exactly why you don't sit right here. I actually thought the kaboom was going to last a little bit longer, to be perfectly honest. So that down was a little bit of my fault there. It's entirely my fault. Nothing happened in the game. That's a Gorgon.
I wish such a drink were not required nor necessary.
Nope. All right. Well, we can go ahead and move now. This is why you don't deviate from the plan. This is why you don't deviate from the plan. Then again, I'm also not very much that invested. And this is probably, honestly, yep, right where we go down. But, you know, I was just kind of trying to show the general setup that I end up using. Obviously, staying right there inside of that little area was not exactly the greatest idea, but you get you get where I'm going with that for the most part. So, thank you for watching. This has been the setup on the Giant.